Yeah, Dunning was working his family's Kona Ice truck, which was parked right next to where the shooting happened, and he was quick to take action. This is footage that he sent me today of Riley being tended to once the first responders arrived. But before that, Dunning says he used resources from his truck to help stop the bleeding and make sure Riley had a fighting chance.
He took his hand away and we saw blood just pouring out of him, so we're like, oh my goodness. So then I jumped out of the truck. I grabbed my one paper towel roll I had and then one rag, and I jumped out there and we put it on him and stuff. I think that by giving the rags and the paper towels, it really helped.
Dunning said that it took about 5 to 7 minutes for the ambulance to arrive, and in that time, he and others in the area weren't entirely sure if Riley was going to make it. Now, at 6 o'clock, we'll have a little bit more on how Dunning's swift action helped save Riley's life. Live in Mayfield, Drayton Charlton-Perrin, WPSD, Local 6.
Drayton, you spoke with Dunning.
Yeah, I met him earlier today in Murray, only a junior in college, just 20 years old, but he made a heroic decision on Friday night in that moment that could have made the difference between life and death.
My mom actually was calling me like right before because she was asking, the game's almost over, so you guys getting ready to head back. And I was like, someone just got shot.
From selling shaved ice at a football game to chaos.
Had a line. At first they said this guy was in line and came up and got shot behind him, like while I was in line. And then I was like, oh my goodness, no way. But turns out he did run around and then drop down right in front of us. I saw all the state troopers pull up with their rifles and they were all yelling, shoot, everyone get away.
This was the scene of the shooting, right behind the end zone. And with a couple minutes left on the clock and families already starting to get ready to go home for the night, it was Dunning whose actions were heroic, and they just might have helped save a man's life.
He took his hand away and we saw blood just pouring out of him, so we're like, oh my goodness. So then I jumped out of the truck. I grabbed my one paper towel roll I had and then one rag, and I jumped out there and we put it on him and stuff. I think that by giving the rags and the paper towels, it really helped.
Dunning wasn't sure if Riley was going to make it.
His eyes were open, looked lifeless, and that's why everyone was saying that he didn't make it. He was just staring straight up at the sky whenever he was down there. They had pressure on him, and then I was looking in his eyes, and he was just, eyes were open, looking straight up at the sky, and his friend was crying, saying he's gone.
Dunning said the ambulance took around 5 to 7 minutes to show up.
Not great timing, but thankfully that people were there and willing to help. I think that's really what saved his life.
A traumatic experience, but Dunning believes the community will overcome.
Something like this happens in such a small town, especially a town that's already close-knit, people come together even more. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah,
I reached out to the Mayfield Police Department for any updates on the investigation, but they were unable to return my calls. Live here in Mayfield, Drayton Charlton-Perrin, WPSD, Local 6.